Welcome to the weather forecast for the week beginning Wednesday, October 18th. My goodness, October is racing by. This is Chief Meteorologist John Ensworth for Longmont Public Media. After a great eclipse I'm going to talk about for a moment here, Sunday, October 22nd, we have our first quarter moon. I actually saw it the very next night after the eclipse, a very, very, very thin crescent in the western sky. It was just so clear. It was great. It was only up over the mountains for a moment and gone. So that was our eclipse, and we had the annular eclipse. And at the Cherrywood Observatory, I have a weather station hooked up that can close the dome and protect the telescope overnight if I set it on automated operation. So here is the temperature in blue. It was rising for the morning. It plateaued and then dropped and went down. This is Celsius, so that's about probably 5 to 8 degrees Celsius, so 12 degrees Fahrenheit or so. Hit mid-eclipse, and then the temperature recovered and continued after that. Here's the relative humidity and wind speed. Relative humidity dropped also. Kind of interesting, yeah. The sun, we did get to see these two sunspots in the telescope at the observatory until they got covered by the eclipse. For drought conditions from last week to this week, the western slopes have been dry for months now, and it's starting to take a toll, and it's a little worse going into this week, especially up here in the northwest. Hopefully that will change. I mean, we're in an El Nino, so the southern subtropical jet stream should be bringing a lot of moisture in, especially southern California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. But maybe we can benefit from that as well as the months go on. Nationally, you see a lot of decreasing drought in Texas, but increasing in Louisiana. But a lot of rain did move through Texas in a few waves. For smoke, well, there's fires in Arizona, fires in Nevada and Northern California because it's been dry for a while. But right now we're in the clear. Looking at snowfall from last week to this week, 218% of normal. Normal is not very much, but you can see there's a little wiggle and jog here above the median amount of snow. So that runs from 1991 to 2020. Looking at actual precipitation, this is where that snow came from. The central and northern mountains got a good hit of water, and it was cold in that last system. The Fort Collins to Colorado Springs area got very little or nothing. Looking at Wednesday's chances of severe weather or even thunderstorms, it's kind of rare, but coast to coast, north to south, no thunderstorms are expected. That's just normal everyday thunderstorms, no thunderstorms. Looking at Thursday, a little bit in the Mississippi and Ohio Valley, and Friday over on the East Coast. Looking at the weather system, we did have that cold front come down, and Wednesday was about 10 degrees cooler than Tuesday. It's kind of short-lived. That pushes down into Texas. We start warming up pretty quickly and remain dry on Friday with another front way up north and this kind of stalling out to our southeast. All right, take a look at normal temperatures. Normal high temperatures, and we were 84, 85 on Tuesday. It's normally 64, so 20 degrees above normal. That's crazy. And it's supposed to drop down to 60 for a normal in 10 days by just about the end of the month. Our normal low temperature drops from 36 to 32. So in this 10-day period, we're finally down to freezing. And I did put the freezing line in here, so you can see that. Totally dry for the first part of the forecast, 5 days or so. The last 5 days, we do have some precipitation returning. The old water vapor satellite image seems to be gone. I searched everywhere for it. They've completely revamped the aviation weather site at NOAA, And this seems to be what has replaced it. So we'll have to deal with it. Greens are above normal atmospheric moisture or ice crystals. The browns are very dry air. It's a little low down here off of the Baja and not much in the Colorado area. All right, so we're about to look at the 10-day animation. Let's take a look at some of the highlights that this Friday and through the weekend, the western part of the nation is dominated by a big ridge. Down here, south of Baja is Norma. That's going to come up, kind of touch the southern part of Baja, and then move quickly inland and fall apart. We got the Rocky Mountains continue down into Mexico, and they tear systems apart. We do have a East Coast trough, so they have cool air here, and we have lots of heat in the west. Now, go a whole week and a little bit more forward. Is it real? I don't know, but the possibility is there. So Thursday and Friday next week, a big trough comes in. For our school, this is fall break. So if a snowstorm happens, it won't impact us much. But this is a pretty significant trough. Look how really big it is. It has a couple lobes of low pressure that I kind of identified in there. And there's the Thursday noon. Tons of snow following and rain on the western slopes and northern mountains. And then going into Thursday, Friday midnight, we have snow down to almost Colorado Springs. Yep, so in the northeast. So if this forecast holds true, this should be our first measurable snow for the year. And that is the 26th and 27th of October, which is about a week later than climatologically average. So let's put this in motion and watch this. There's our west coast ridge. We have a high pressure center right over Las Vegas there. Then it kind of moves into southern Arizona. And then here comes that tropical system. Kind of gets pulled in, and then the trough digs down across California into Arizona. And by Wednesday and Thursday, it's crossing over Colorado to give us our first possible snowstorm. It's reinforced by this trough coming in Thursday and Friday. Another little cutoff kind of forms out here into the following weekend, but that's really speculative. So let's look at the crazy warm temperatures. The reds, pinks, and hot pinks are way above normal. And that is definitely where we are through Friday and Saturday. The weekend will be warm. It's going to be a great weekend to get out and do stuff. And going to Monday, still warm. Here comes the cold air from the north and the west, kind of taking over the west by Wednesday and Thursday. And then the cold front makes a big push Thursday into Friday. You can see really below normal temperatures and a very sharp cold front making it down into Texas. The Four Corners area stays warm, but we get cold. Looking at atmospheric moisture, this is precipitatable water. This is similar to the water vapor satellite image, but it's a future forecast. Here comes that tropical hurricane, then tropical storm, and it kind of falls apart quickly in Mexico. Got lots of moisture in the west, but nothing for the low levels until later in the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, there's the moisture of the tropical system coming up into Kansas and then up into the Great Lakes. And then for Thursday, Friday, we get this ribbon of moisture before the cold front blasts all the moisture away. Looking at surface dew points, this is why we probably won't get much precipitation early in the week, even though a ripple is going by. We've got 12, 15 dew points up in the mountains and 25, 30s on the plains near the mountains for Sunday, Monday. And then we start to see more moisture, mid-30s and almost 40 dew points going into Wednesday. And then right ahead of the front, we get a little tongue of moisture there, and then the front blasts through on Friday. and we drop to 7 dew points, 2 dew points, really, really dry air, -7, -5 dew points up there. So let's take a look at this storm in motion. Again, very boring through the end of the week and the weekend. There is a little earlier storm. Here comes the tropical system into Mexico. There's Sunday, Monday. There's a little something on Tuesday, some showers around. Sure isn't much. Wednesday, so chance of light showers. But then when the front pushes in, we get good tightening of the gradient and some upslope snow and like that. It's out pretty quick though, so 12 to 18 hours of snow if it happens. Again, this could still go away. It's a week and a half away. That could be made up. Over the next 5 days, don't expect any rain. Over the next 5 days, don't expect any snow. Over the next 10 days, north of Colorado Springs, kind of south of Denver and up, there's a 1/4 inch of precipitation or so along I-25, or a little bit less. The good stuff is up in Wyoming. For snow, again, the heavier amounts right now are expected up in Wyoming. This is the 2-inch amount down through Longmont, down to Boulder. Denver is a trace to 1 inch. So, if this is what starts off the season, that's what we get. So I'm calling for 70s on Wednesday with the dry cold front. Then 80s for the end of the week, upper 70s for the end of the weekend or the weekend. And then we start to cool down after Monday with the beginning of the first front that leads to our Thursday, Friday chance of snow. Pretty low chances, but that's not non-zero. Taking a look down here, Norma is coming in and going to hit the Baja. It's a hurricane and then become a tropical storm and go inland and fall apart pretty quickly. So check out more frequent weather updates at Longmont Leader and lots of great local news. This is Chief Meteorologist John Ensworth urging you to keep looking up.